I want to thank Matt Crane, who is the Executive Director of the Colorado Clerks Association, for being here today. Yesterday, my office learned about a developing issue in Mesa County. We are here to tell you what we understand at this time, but it is a developing investigation. According to information that we gathered yesterday from the Mesa County Clerk's Office, it appears that as of now, approximately a dozen voters in Mesa County had their ballots intercepted before they arrived to them and cast without their knowledge. Now, the ballots were filled out, the return envelopes were signed, and they were then returned to a USPS blue box. So that's a postal box, not a ballot drop box. The issue was discovered during the signature verification process. At least 3 of the voters had already received communications from the Mesa County Clerk. Mesa County Clerk mailed 2 of the voters affected to ask them to cure their ballots, which means fix the signatures, because the signatures were rejected during the verification process. The voter subsequently reached out to Mesa County and told them they didn't actually vote their ballot or receive it. Other voters who had their ballots rejected because of the false signature would have also been sent that cure letter, but the ballots were intercepted in time. At least one other affected voter received a message through the ballot track system, which is the statewide ballot tracking system, that sent a notification to them that their ballot was received by their county clerk. Again, the voter didn't actually receive their ballot and had not voted their ballot. None of these 3 voters had cast a ballot, and they reached out to the Mesa County Clerk. Mesa County Clerk Bobby Gross, her office then started an investigation. They discovered that ballots had been sent to addresses in close proximity to each other. Mesa County then looked at all the other ballots that were rejected because of the signature and discovered that it appeared that at least some of the ballots were signed by the same person. The Mesa County Clerk's Office then turned the findings over to Mesa County District Attorney Dan Rubenstein, who has initiated a criminal investigation. The team in Mesa County is re-examining every ballot return envelope that has been received at this point. The investigation into this situation is ongoing. What we also know is that Colorado's elections are safe and secure, and this attempt at fraud was found and investigated quickly because of the groundbreaking tools that we have here. Every return ballot undergoes signature verification in the state of Colorado, which is comparing the signature on the ballot return envelope to the signatures on file by the voter. Colorado also has ballot curing, where the county clerk will actually reach out to a voter if their ballot is rejected because their signature does not match. And we have tools like ballot tracks, where voters can sign up and get information sent to them from when their ballot was mailed to them to when it was received by the county clerk to when it is counted. These fraudulent ballots were rejected and flagged. A recent update from the Mesa County Clerk indicates that 4 made it through the initial round of signature verification. One of those was caught before it was counted because the voter had received a message through ballot tracks. Every voter impacted by the scheme that we are undercovering will have the opportunity to make their voice heard in the 2024 general election. Affected voters will be given a new ballot. Voter fraud, voter intimidation, and voter harassment are illegal in the state of Colorado. We will respond quickly to any attempts to disenfranchise voters or interfere with the Colorado election model. With that, I'll turn it over to Matt Crane, and then we'll take questions from everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's unfortunate that we have to get together for an event like this to talk about when somebody tries to do something nefarious with our voting systems. But as we've heard from Secretary Griswold, it's important to note that our processes here in Colorado did what they were supposed to do in terms of identifying potential fraud when it happens. And our clerk, Bobby Gross, and her team in Mesa County did a great job of following through on this to see what happened and working with DA Rubenstein in Mesa County to follow through and investigate this, which as the Secretary said, is still ongoing. But I just want to highlight, this shows the resiliency of our process here in Colorado, that if somebody tries to do nefarious things, it will be discovered through our processes. It's also a great sign that the voters took responsibility when they got that cure letter to reach out to the county to say, hey, we think there's a problem here. And so we always encourage personal responsibility with our voters as well. If you see something wrong, make sure you get in touch with the county so it can be investigated. I'd also like to highlight that this is just another opportunity for clerks and our teams across the state to go back and review all of our processes, all of our signature verification work, all of our audit work, to make sure that we are dotting every I and crossing every T to make sure that things like this don't happen again. And heaven forbid, if it does, that we catch it and get it to law enforcement where they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Perfect. With that, happy to take questions. Yep.
Do you have any suspects? You mentioned some of the signatures appear to be by one person. Is there any indication that it might be more than one? And were the ballots, the way they were voted, give you an indication if the person or specifically suspects were voting one way or the other? Did they vote for Trump or they voted for
So unfortunately, with the ongoing nature of the criminal investigation, I can't comment as to suspects, and we're just going to ask everybody to bear with us because we're not going to be speculating as to that and ask for patience. Of course, one thing to note, any voter that is concerned should go to govotecolorado.gov. You can sign up for ballot tracks right there and get a notification as to where your ballot is in the process, has it been voted, and that should be a good tool for folks. In terms of any of the political implications, I can't comment at this point, but as soon as we have information that we are able to release, we will be doing that.
Can you confirm a postal worker was involved?
I can't confirm that at this point.
Is a postal inspector involved?
The postal inspector?
Were they involved in this investigation?
The United States Postal Service has been alerted and has started their own investigation, as this is something that is related to the use of the Postal Service, but I can't comment further than that.
So at this point, you aren't looking at a postal worker or whether or not there's anybody in custody that is a postal worker?
I can't comment to that with the ongoing nature of the criminal investigation.
This sounds like 4 ballots made it through the signature verification process, and unless they had reached out, those 4 ballots would have been counted even though that person didn't vote. How can you say that that is the process working when they made it through the signature verification process?
Well, at this point, we have at least 12 ballots that are suspected. The county clerk discovered the issue relatively quickly and put processes in place to stop any further detriment. In terms of the signature process, signatures on the back of mail ballots are verified by an election judge. And if there's any questions as to the signature, then there's a secondary review by bipartisan election judges. We will be working very closely with Mesa County to make sure that their signature verification processes are as strong as possible going forward.
But in those 4 cases, didn't the process fail?
In those 4 cases, their 3 ballots were actually submitted and not pulled out. And that's unfortunate, but very luckily, this fraud was found early in the process in Mesa County and action was taken.
Does that mean that the votes with those 3 were counted?
They were.
So they've been, I don't know, is there a way to pull them back?
There is not. There's a confidential right, or there's a right under the state constitution to have a confidential ballot. So once signatures are checked, the ballot is pulled independently from the envelope and it's put into the process. Oh, on the Zoom, sure. Do you want to jump into this, Matt? Anything to say?
No, I think you covered that well. I think we're always looking how we can improve our processes and make them stronger. But our processes identified this, and where there were ballots that, a certain number of ballots that got through, we have Mesa County's taking immediate actions to remediate that, and county clerks across the state are going through and dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that their processes, their security processes, are as hardened as possible to make sure that things like this do not happen.
So how are they?
And let me just interject for a second. I know a lot of us know each other. Can everybody identify themselves and their outlet as they're asking questions?
So how are those 3 identified subsequently to that group?
So the ballots went through, the clerk stopped processes and went back and checked the envelopes subsequently, so went back and checked the signatures and identified those as potentially being fraudulent. Mesa County is now working through every envelope that has already been processed to go and double check everything.
Are you able to address,
Can you identify yourself?
I'm Steve with CBS
Okay.
Are you able to address how these were intercepted, where they were intercepted,
The
the ballots?
the ballots, they were intercepted through the signature verification process.
Where the fraudulent activity occurred, whoever's doing this, how did they get their hands on it?
I can't comment to that at this point. Yes. keep it
Gabrielle,
going.
Fox 31. When it comes to these dozen ballots, does it seem that there was any targeting of the people who were selected? Are there any connections there?
At this point, I can't comment onto that, but as soon as we have verifiable information, I'll be sure to share that with you.
Sorry, somebody in the chat has asked if we know anything about the location where they were intercepted from. And we asked specifically
We can't answer. Everybody will have to have an ounce of patience. This is a criminal investigation, and so we can't comment to that at this point.
Mark Salinger with News again. Those 3 ballots that made it through, I know that there was 4, one person reached out, it sounds like 3 of them were counted. I just wanna make sure that we get this correct. 3 of them were counted and you cannot reverse those votes, is that accurate?
That is accurate.
So at that point, 1, how are you assuring people that this won't happen again, that Colorado's voting system is indeed secure? And 2, what happens to those 3 people? Can they vote again?
Yes. So everybody affected will be offered a new ballot. The Mesa County clerk will be reaching out to all affected voters. Again, voters can always check their votes at govotecolorado.gov. We want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Now, when it comes to the signature verification system, we have, of course, election rules and election law in place about signature verification. We will be working very closely with the Mesa County clerk to ensure compliance with Colorado election rules. And just so you know, under election rules, it's required that clerks periodically audit the signature verification process and the people who are doing signature verification.
Is it possible that more ballots made it through that are fraudulent that you don't know of?
I can't comment to that right now. What I can say is that the Mesa County clerk is going through every signature that so far has been processed. This is an evolving situation, and we'll share as much as we know with the Mesa County clerk's investigation, and of course as much as we are able to know with the criminal investigation ongoing. Yes, Jack?
Is there concern this fraud is happening elsewhere in the state? How are you certain this is?
Who is that from?
KOAA.
KOAA. Okay. Is there suspected fraud in other parts of the state? Not that we're aware of. We're investigating one other situation in the state that we don't have enough facts at this point to share. As soon as we have enough information, we'll be sure to share that with everybody. And I can't comment further as to whether this is a bigger scheme, given the criminal investigation and just the ongoing nature of the investigation in itself.
What's the timeline? You said your office learned about this the other day. When did folks in Mesa County learn about it? When were these ballots stolen?
So we were alerted yesterday morning. We are under the understanding that Mesa County knew the day prior to that. And in terms of the third part of your question, I can't comment now on that. Do you want to add anything else? You can
No.
jump in at any point. Okay.
Matt, I'd be interested from your perspective with county clerks. You say that this is the way that the system is supposed to work. Are fraudulent ballots supposed to make it through this process through counting?
No, and I don't think I said it. I don't think I said it in the way that you're saying it. The system, the way that it works with our signature verification process, with our curing process, with all of these, with our ballot tracks process, is designed for both accessibility and security, right? Ballot tracks, so people can know that their ballot's on the way, have peace of mind, but also that's a big thing for peace of mind to them to know that it's on the way. The curing process to know, hey, there was an issue with your signature, you can come in and fix it, and also on the correspondence it says, if you didn't submit your ballot, let us know. So again, access and integrity at the same time. The signature verification process is designed to identify signatures that may not match. And if there's any question at all, the ballots are rejected and we notify the voters. So in that way, the way the system is designed, it is designed to catch things like this, which it did. Now, obviously, it is regrettable that 3 got through, which is why we have clerks across the state going back and revisiting all of their processes, all of their procedures, and having a zero tolerance policy for any mistakes that are made through the course of signature verification.
Can you talk a little bit about what that might look like right now? What have you told other county clerks to change within the past couple of days?
Well, it's not so much changing, it's going back and reviewing their training that they did with their election judges, going back and revisiting that with them, making sure they are doing the audit that Secretary Griswold referred to make sure they're validating how well the signature verification judges are performing, and just being really vigilant in terms of making sure everything is done by the book, and again, having a zero tolerance policy. If you see mistakes, assign that judge to another part of the election process. You know, do what you need to do, but we need the best of the best, the people who are best trained to do this work.
I would just add on, you know, some of the rules have been amended to how signatures are audited just this year to increase the amount of oversight of the signature verification process. That's something that we are very focused on. It is very unfortunate that 3 ballots were counted, but this was caught relatively quickly. Like Matt said, we have signature verification, ballot tracking, the cure process where the county clerk is reaching out affirmatively to someone. We also have criminal prosecution, and that's what is happening right now. A criminal investigation has been opened. The district attorney in Mesa County, Dan Rubenstein, has started his investigation, and we're working very closely to support the criminal investigation into this situation.
I think if I could just add one thing too, I think like with all of our election processes, our statute, our law, our rules allows for meaningful observation of all of our processes. So signature verification, political party appointed watchers can go, or candidate appointed watchers can go and observe all of these processes that are happening in real time. So it's very open, it's very transparent, it's not done behind a closed door, and we welcome that. And we will work to get better to make sure that things like this don't happen again.
Quentin Young from Colorado News. Just a clarification on a question. The clarification is that it was indeed the signature verification that exposed this alleged crime. That you're treating these dozen or more alleged fraud instances of fraud as a single crime committed by a single person and not multiple crimes happening at once. And the question is, did the overcoming of the security prompt you or will prompt you to assign some kind of supervision?
To clarify, I did not say that this was done by a single person. I can't comment on that at this point. We need to be very mindful of the criminal investigation. We are there to support Mesa County. We currently have staff in Mesa County on site to assist in any way. Yes.
Gabrielle from Monster. Bit of a two-part question, but to the best of your knowledge, has this level of ballot interception ever happened in the state where somebody was able to get their hands on ballots and then actually get through and get it voted? Has that ever happened?
Not to my knowledge. To your knowledge?
No, and I mean, I've been at this since 2000, and this is the first time that we've seen something like this.
Also wanted to speak to ballot traps because it
Yeah.
sounded like somebody signed up for that. They realized that they didn't have their ballot, or maybe they got a notification that their ballot had been voted even though they haven't, actually seen it yet. Can you speak to the importance of ballot tracks and how it works in this situation?
Absolutely. So our system is based on check the signature and then alert voters if there's any type of suspected issue with a signature. Now, most of the time, we're alerting voters to say like, hey, you signed your ballot too sloppy. You can't just write a line through. This is an actual signature that is being checked into a database of the voter signature. But the signature verification at its heart is to identify that the person who voted the ballot is the person who was intended to vote the ballot. So that's the first step, and then notifications go out to anybody where there's a question about their signature. So the process did work through that process, and then ballot tracks where a voter also got a notification that there was an issue with their ballot. The voters then called the county clerk, and it launched this investigation.
Can you talk a little bit about how the signature verification process works? Like,
Sure.
what actually happens once an election judge looks at a ballot and making sure that the signature matches?
Sure. So every time that someone votes a ballot, interacts with the DMV, Their signature is put into a database that is then compared to how the signature is on the back of the envelope. Across the state, one election judge is looking at the signature initially. If there is any reason to suspect the signature has an issue, it is then escalated to a bipartisan team of election judges. And it's at that point a ballot would be held or rejected or held for cure, held for the voter to fix it because of some type of signature discrepancy.
Is it an electronic comparison, or is it just somebody, like, looking at
Yeah.
two signatures
Yeah.
and making kind of a layperson's determination of it?
Well, it's so yes and no. Some counties do have an automated system. Mesa County does not. It's not just a layperson. There is a training. It's actually a training that was initially developed by Secretary Scott Gessler about how you do signature verification that the county clerks take all their election judges that do signature verification through. Do you
I
want to
think,
comment?
yeah, if I might. So it's important to know there is extensive training around signature verification for every judge who does this work. That includes, the state has a guide, as Secretary Griswold was talking about, that has different examples, what to look for, how a signature, even if it's off in the slightest way with a hook on a G or, something like that, things to look for in that regard. And then counties go above and beyond the state training often, where they will bring in a forensic handwriting expert to help them refine training materials, to actually present to signature verification judges about things to look for, when examining these signatures. So there's a lot of training that takes place across the 64 counties. And then there are multiple layers of signature verification based on the process. Some larger counties have used technology as the first pass at signature verification. And then if it's referred, at that point, referred meaning the technology says it's not a match, then it goes to an election judge. If that judge refers it to the bipartisan team, so on and so forth. So there's multiple layers of this process. Extensive training before they ever work, auditing after the fact, and again, this process is open for meaningful observation to the public.
So it sounds like the ballots that did make it through both the electronic automated signature verification as well as any potential human verification?
I don't believe Mesa County uses the automatic signature verification software. I think it was completely manual, meaning a people process. Human process, right? Yep.
Any further questions?
Obviously, there are going to be folks that fight to this and say, like, clearly there's voter fraud in Colorado, and maybe try and extrapolate this to say that, how can you trust the results of the state? What's your message to them?
Well, first off, I think we have to let the criminal investigation play out. We don't know the motive as to the person. But with that said, we can continually say disinformation is incredibly dangerous to the electoral process. Disinformation has incited actors to try to prove conspiracies in Colorado various times. And all over, we should really encourage folks to go to a trusted source of information. That's their county clerks, govotecolorado.gov. And I would say, it's unfortunate 3 ballots got through, but overall, this situation was addressed very quickly by the Mesa County clerk. There is a criminal investigation going on right now, and I do have faith that the district attorney in Mesa County, who has proven himself to be a very trustworthy partner in actual election integrity, will do a good job. So I think Coloradans can rest assured that this problem was caught very quickly, and it was addressed. Just like the Mesa County voting equipment breach, the compromise happened, and we caught it really quickly and addressed it. What we can do at the state level is make sure that the laws and the rules are as tight as possible for the counties. That's what we can do. We can assist the counties. We can offer them assisted county support, people from my office. We can bring in former clerks to help folks. We can do trainings. But at the end of the day, our system is done by humans. It's done by people who are overseeing the entire Colorado election model. And I think 2 big things. We're going to continue to work very closely with the Mesa County clerk to ensure compliance with our election rules and law. But that also, the system did work. And we might not know full information to share with you all today, but there is a criminal investigation, and I'm very confident that justice will be had in this situation.
I want to, Stephanie, clarify
Yeah.
one thing. Mesa County does use autos.
Oh, they do?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, did the ballots make it through both the auto and
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank
ma'am.
you.